Welcome to another installment of This Is Not Normal on the Political Drain podcast with Drill Sergeant Doug, aka Admin Doug, a U.S. Army veteran, teacher, musician, and family man from Jamaica, now fights for justice and democracy through commentary and humor. Follow him on YouTube at Political Drain and at Sons of Liberty Official as Drill Sergeant, aka Admin Doug, continues to protect our freedoms.
A year ago, he was Donald Trump's criminal defense attorney. Todd Blanche defended Trump in the Stormy Daniels hush money trial. Trump was convicted on all 34 counts. Today, he's an assistant attorney general of the United States. What's he doing? Flying to Florida to talk with sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, convicted in the Epstein criminal case.
What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here, and the Butcher of Mar-a-Lago, the Tangerine Tornado, the Tangerine Tyrant, and the two cans of Spray Tan Sam himself, otherwise known as the illegitimate president of our time, is in the Epstein files. Yes, he is, because he's a predator. That's why 26 women so far have already credibly accused him of SA, and he's about this close to letting a trafficker already found guilty go free in order to clear his own name. He's corrupt. His administration is corrupt. And I say that now in front of every video, whether we're talking about this or not, because I know how important it is to not let this just become another one of the atrocities, the daily atrocities that get forgotten because of the next daily atrocities and the barrage of filth and disgusting things and headlines and realities that we now live in for the past 6 months. So I know the importance of making sure that this stays on the mind of every American for a very long time. So does the Lincoln Project. And once again, they're geniuses at this. They just do it right. They have the money to do it right, and they have the know-how because they're all Republicans. And Republicans know how to fight dirty. They just do. I want to give a big shout out to Texas Democrats who finally found something to do to help their state out, which is they just left. All of them left the state. They finally found the money to pay the fines because, yes, they're being fined every day that they're not in the state because Republicans are disgusting and filthy and nasty in every state, but especially Texas. But they found the backing, they found the financiers, all of them left so that they cannot have any vote on the gerrymandering going on over there.
It's a plane load of Texas Democratic lawmakers. In fact, they're still on the tarmac in Austin. We have a live picture of the plane sitting there, getting ready to take off very shortly. They are heading to Chicago because they are trying to prevent the state legislature there from having a quorum, enough lawmakers to be able to vote on a redistricting plan. They say that it is being forwarded by President Trump.
We did not make a decision lightly, but we come here today with absolute moral clarity that this is absolutely the right thing to do to protect the people of the state of Texas.
Important for us to have the conversation around the fact that this is bigger than Texas. This isn't just about the 5 seats in Texas. This is about a power grab. It is about basically setting the tone for what Donald Trump will try to do throughout this country so that he can suppress the voices of black and brown folk just so that he can stay in power. So many people that feel like the Democrats have not been fighting hard enough. Well, I am here to tell you, as you've already stated, I have been a loud voice of opposition to this regime thus far. We have some of the best fighters that you can find right there in the state of Texas. And so now it will be interesting to see some of those new young voices that will be introduced to the nation as they talk about why it was so important to do this and deny the quorum as they continue to go after our voices in a majority minority state. And they are continuing to suppress them systemically. And we know that the Supreme Court now is going to take up a Section 2 case. And we know that Section 2 is basically the only section we really have left of the Voting Rights Act.
Good job. Kudos, Democrats. But if anybody knows how to fight dirty, it's the Lincoln Project. They know that they need to keep this Epstein thing on the top of America's minds. But the reason why, I believe, is different than what they think the reason is. I'm going to say that after you watch this, though, because it is masterful. Watch this. Afterwards, let's talk about why we need to keep this on America's mind. And it's not what you think it is.
A year ago, he was Donald Trump's criminal defense attorney. Todd Blanche defended Trump in the Stormy Daniels hush money trial. Trump was convicted on all 34 counts. Today, he's an assistant attorney general of the United States. What's he doing? Flying to Florida to talk with sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, convicted in the Epstein criminal case. Here's what Donald Trump had to say about the convicted sex trafficker.
I wish her well. Whatever it is, I just wish her well, frankly.
So what do you think Donald Trump's former criminal defense lawyer's doing, talking behind closed doors with Donald Trump's old friend, Ghislaine Maxwell?
We don't want to comment about the substance of the meeting for obvious reasons.
Come on. Do they think we're that stupid? Maxwell knows everything. She'd love a pardon.
She answered all the questions truthfully, honestly, and to the best of her ability.
Yeah, Donald Trump thinks we're that stupid. Release the Epstein files. Now.
Yes, they're good at it. They're good at it. They break it down in a way that everybody can understand. No need for the excess. No need for the legal words. They tell you SA, predator, trafficker, orange, Mussolini. That's it. But I promise to tell you why I think this is so important. Why it's so important to keep on the minds of America. Because unlike all of the other atrocities that happen every day, this one seems to have at least stuck for a while. So you may be thinking to yourself, well, we got to do this because we have a chance to finally change some of the minds of some of these MAGA folks, have them break off, right? And help our coalition, or at least not make theirs bigger, or even get so enraged that they turn against the cult leader. I'm here to tell you, it's not going to happen. Right now, they're waiting to be told what to think. That's what's happening. And nobody can find the thing that will stick. And I'm just going to say this one time. No, I won't. I'll say this every damn time I have to remind us we're not doing this to get them to break off. You remember this?
Everyone's so mad, as they should be, that he said that. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is brilliant. Like, where has this anger been for the past decade? I have been so pissed, so frustrated, screaming at the top of my lungs, touring the country, giving speeches exposing Jeffrey Epstein. I have been so pissed and angry and riled up about this for years. And now I'm starting to see everyone else bring up that kind of energy. And now I'm thinking, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. He is getting his base so fired up to demand justice. We're probably now going to see the mainstream media go crazy and say, oh, President Trump acts like Jeffrey Epstein isn't a big deal. He doesn't care. How horrible is this? Well, what a brilliant way, Hannah, to get the mainstream media to cover Jeffrey Epstein.
That's the level of delusion we're dealing with. If you think for any reason that these cult members aren't just waiting for the next thing to get them mad enough to forget about this and still sleep at night, or aren't already sleeping at night, just waiting to be told what to think, you're sadly mistaken. The reason why this is important, the reason why is because for the time being, this gives us time. Let me tell you what I mean. Right now, they are mad about it. Right now, they are embarrassed. Right now, they're still trying to figure out what to say because nothing's sticking, because it is that gross, because they were that invested in this one thing, not in your taxes, not in due process, not in the price of eggs, not in safety and security of America, not in new wars. We don't want any new wars. None of that they were invested in. All of that was bullshit that they use in comment sections to troll. The one thing they were invested in, because they thought for sure that they were of God and Democrats were of the devil, was this. This is going to be the thing that blows it up. So they're in this tough space. Why is that important? Well, because while they're doing that, it gives us more time. We use to organize so that when this finally does fade off, we're that much closer to turning the tables. I think if we're organizing, we need to be thinking about a general strike. How do we do a general strike? It starts first with support. And most of us don't have it. Most of us don't know how to do it. So during this time, I'm going to make sure every beginning of every video says that Donald Trump's in the Epstein files, because while they're thinking about that, you can start with your neighborhood. I think if we can, in our neighborhoods, if we have 3 or 4 neighborhoods in every major city in America that can do just in their neighborhood 5 things: money, savings, food, sustenance, childcare, safety, transportation. Are we carpooling? Are we growing our own food? Some people may have that. But are we stocking up on food so that we can distribute amongst the people who we've talked to? If you can get half the neighborhood, if you can get a third of the neighborhood, start talking now while you have the time. We are pushing Epstein because it only gives us time, not because we're waiting for those delusional, smooth-brained idiots to come around. Use this time to get your neighborhood. Then come back to me. Here, who has some savings? This is mutual aid. This is sacrifice. I know. I don't have any money either. But I know that if I can pull something together that can last 2 or 3 months for a third of my neighborhood, because I'm on the outskirts of a big city. If you're in the big city or on the outskirts and you have a neighborhood that you live in and probably want a house because space is going to be needed. It's that real. But if we can provide 5 things, come together and say, how are we going to do the money, the savings, money, savings, money, savings? How are we going to do the food sustenance? How are we going to do the transportation? How are we going to do the safety? Right? Are we doing like they did in Ohio, where we just start policing our own little neighborhood? Do we have a neighborhood watch? Can we start one? And childcare. How many homes do we have where we can have babysitting? How are we getting this together? Every little community is going to be different. They have different people doing different things. There's different ways. But if we can do this, by the time these people finally get told what to think and they start to think it and we lose this moment, we'll be that much closer to having 1, 2, 3, 4 neighborhoods in every major city getting ready for that general strike. That's what this is good for. Time. It gives us time to organize. I put the challenge out. If you can do it in your neighborhood even faster, then you can move to another one and you can join a neighborhood. You may have a friend in another neighborhood that sees what you're doing. Help them organize it. 5 things. Everyone, half or even a third of your neighborhood. If you're next to or in a big city, write me back. Talk to me. Talk to me. Tell me what you're doing. Let's help someone else. I can give you some ideas. I'm just new at this like you. I just know I can't not do anything. You may know more than me, and you probably do. You just don't know it because I'm on YouTube. I don't know shit. I just raise my hand. I just say yes. That's all I do, differently than anybody else. Say yes. Raise your hand. Say I'm going to go to the neighbor. Start there. Tell them the 5 things. See if they have an idea. Because if we can sustain a general strike with 3 neighborhoods in every city, major city, there's hundreds of thousands of people not going to work, or worse, not buying, not spending, getting their own child care, and learning how to live as a community, and maybe this much closer to not even needing them anymore. Or not having the fear of being laid off or fired anymore. There's some communities that will find that to be honorable, sustainable, and enjoyable. Many of us, it'll die off after we win this thing. But the general strike is where we are. I'm not saying don't protest. I'm not saying don't go to the next thing or the next thing. What I'm saying is while this is happening, we're doing this every day, not because they're going to change their mind. They're fucking idiots. They're gone. They're brainwashed. They're stolen. Their souls, their minds, their money, and even their children have been given up to the cult willingly. They're not changing. We're doing it every day because we want to make sure that they're the ones distracted while we're organizing. Email me. Tell me. I'll make it a big thing. I'll put your name. So-and-so is doing this somewhere on this channel at every show. I want 3 neighborhoods in every major city. If you live close to or in a major city, start in your neighborhood. Tell me what you did. Email me. I'll put it up here. Now's the time because we have the time. This Epstein thing will slow them down. Visit our Twitch, because me talking like this is going to probably get me off of YouTube at some point. So we have a backup channel where we do lives. Herb Digital is on twitch.tv/politicaldraindigital. Visit that. Sign in, subscribe. Even if you don't watch anything, get the numbers up on Twitch, number of subscribers up on Twitch, so that we can be viable when it actually comes time that I'm not on here, because that's very possible. But send me those emails. Be the one to raise your hand. Say yes, because whether we're here or not, tomorrow we fight. Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works. Follow us on all these things you see here, and our link tree is in the description. Maybe even get some merch.
That was the Political Drain podcast, which can be heard on www.groovechillradio.com/political-drain and can be viewed on the Political Drain YouTube channel anytime. Once again, thank you for listening to Groove Chill as we resist fascism in any form, pursue democracy, peace, and love.